I give her to me. Who are you to talk about laziness, Tommy? Who are you? You're a commentator. What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. Today, we're going to be reacting to Tomi Lahren. But if you want, that was a trailer for our divorce documentary. We are currently trying to raise $100,000 for in order to finish. I have been demonetized. I lost probably 7 or 8 TikToks, 3 Instagram. They really do not want me to finish this documentary. I'm going to show you the fundraiser page. So the link to it's in the description. It's a GoFundMe. I want to say shout out to the most recent person that donated, Eric, $200 donation. We appreciate it. So far, we have raised $31,642. So maybe in the next month we can get it to 40K and we can get closer to our goal of 100K. The reason I want to raise 100 is because I want to have 6 months to a year salary saved up when we hire the new team, so we don't run out of cash along the way. So, anyways, guys, if you can donate, please. We're going to go through some changes in the channel soon. So we do have some announcements, but I'm gonna stay ambiguous for now. Okay, so today we're reacting to Tomi Lahren, Tradcon Feminist, with super simp Michael Knowles. So as you guys know, to some degree, all women are feminists. And the reason all women are feminists is because all women are trying to implement their mating strategy. Now, women's mating strategy is to use as much of our youth as possible on ourselves and not our husbands. And the men's mating strategy is to get young, hot women to be with them and use their youth on them. So our mating strategies are at odds, right? Because men want unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, and women want guys with unlimited access to unlimited sexuality to settle down. So women's dream is to finally be the woman that settles down with Leonardo DiCaprio. And men's dream is a bunch of hot 8+s that are 19-year-olds. Why do you think the Muslims promise virgins, right? They're like, yeah, if you do all this, you're going to get a bunch of virgin women. And the men are like, let me do it. Let me do it. Let's do it. So, and the reason is, you know, I think they get like 1,000 virgins. I'm not that religious. I don't really know. But anyways, my biggest problem with the religious people is they're religious until they're not. And as someone who's a consumer of Daily Wire content for years, they've just really disappointed me. They really have. Michael Knowles, I went on his show, and he's just a super simp. Do you know what I mean? He simps for women, and he's constantly bending the truth to appease women. He's constantly giving women the benefit of the doubt, even though we're kind of liars pretty much all the time, 24/7. But he's still just like, believe women all the time. If she says she's a virgin and not Ranther, just believe her, marry her anyway. No prenup, no nothing. So anyways, he has a conversation with Tomi Lahren, and this is the typical dynamic in churches. Some Tradcon feminist woman and some guy appeasing her. Usually what happens is the guys just don't have a lot of experience with women, so they just, you know, they super simp out. So anyways, we're going to continue.
Welcome to Yes or No, the bibulous battle to discover who knows whom better. My guest today, a woman.
Now, my issue is a lot of these people use the religion for clout. So, look, I can't speculate if you're religious or if you're not religious, but religious people don't magically become religious when they're on camera. It's generally my view. And you got the girl with the fake hair, a lot of makeup. Okay.
Who needs no introduction, Tomi Lahren. How do we play?
This lighting is not doing her any favors.
I will ask Tomi a yes or no question. She will select her answer away from my prying eyes. Then I'll guess how she answered. If I guess correctly, I get a point. If I guess incorrectly, I lose a point. No matter what, I'll probably end up drinking. Then it's Tomi's turn. Neither of us has seen the questions beforehand. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. The stakes could be higher. Let's get started. Tomi, Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited about this. I didn't know there would be cards and a board game involved.
And booze. But you have an unfair advantage over me.
Yeah.
You're having water.
I'm having water, staying hydrated.
Why are you having water for this game?
Well, it's a Tuesday at 2, and I'll be driving
Didn't stop me. I was chugging.
to Brentwood. So
Hold on. You're going to tell on me to the whole audience out there.
That's all right.
That I'm boozing at work. Sometimes we've had to film this at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Let me get through the semantics. Don't get
first glance,
Yeah.
that's fine with me. That gives me an advantage. If you go in underestimating me, I would prefer that, right? But I also see a blonde, not in New York. Blondes there, any variation of blonde.
Okay. Do most men assume blondes are less intelligent than brunettes? Well, I would say yes. It's because if you're blonde, you're probably investing money in your looks because you have to pay a bunch of money in order to get that. So you're clearly making less money off of your brains if you have to dye your hair blonde, you know. That's my thought.
I said yes.
And I answered that you said yes.
You said yes. Okay, Tommy got it right. And I have to drink. I do think that men think, rightly or wrongly, they assume that if a girl is blonde, she's less smart. And I don't think it's about the blonde so much as the brunette. Brunette gives to me an aura of bookishness.
Okay.
Is that fair? Or is it a terrible prejudice?
I would think, because I'll tell you this, I go to New York. And I don't see any blondes there, any variation of blondes there. I see a lot of darker haired women there.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the model scene, I'm talking about your everyday people.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't see a lot of blondes.
No.
And for me, my perspective, when I go there, it's completely different than in Nashville or Dallas or even California, where you have a mix of both, but you're gonna see a blonde, pretty good chance you're gonna see a blonde.
Yeah.
Not in New York. And to me, when I see a lot of brunettes, I don't assume that they are more intelligent, but they just don't seem like they're having as much fun. And I know that that's a cliche. They seem maybe more serious.
Yes.
I don't think it means
severe.
I don't think it means that you're smarter. I just think it means that you take yourself maybe a little bit too seriously. Now these are
I just think you're monetizing your looks more. I don't care about this question. What we got next? Oh, there's a part where they talk about marriage, so I want to get to that. As most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what the average was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stack contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on Chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on Chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. Does this finally make the WNBA bearable to watch? I don't care. And by the way, if this ends earlier than I thought it would, because I thought this was going to all be, then I'm probably going to go to the Michael Knowles debate that he had with the trad wives and Emily. Okay.
It's the body double!
him that well. I was seeing the reaction of all the Dems. And he got out there, and it was one note the whole time. It was just, revolution, and we have the same religion. And John Adams said, the principles of Christianity are the principles on which independence was won. John Adams was not an Orthodox Christian by any chance, or any stretch. RFK Jr.
Okay, here we go. This is the questions I want. Okay, here we are, these topics.
Rise of stay-at-home sons will only be fixed if RFK Jr. bans soy and other.
Okay, so there's this idea that there's something wrong with stay-at-home sons. And look, I can just speak to what I see interviewing people and in the real world. Most of the stay-at-home sons I know are just guys saving money. They get along with their parents. They don't see the point. I know stay-at-home sons that have enough money for rent. You know, they're just trying to get something done or Ubering or, they have enough money to buy a house. I know some. It's not necessarily that they have an issue with their money or they're losers or anything. They just, they're saving money on rent. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And here's the thing. The other issue you have is a lot of men are preparing to not have a family because they don't see it in their future. It's not likely it's going to happen for them. But they're not going to have that conversation. They're not going to be honest about what's going on. They're just going to find a way to blame the men, as usual. Per usual.
Their seed oils. What does Tomi think about that? I got it wrong? What do you mean I got it wrong? How did I get it wrong? What do you mean? No, hold on. That would mean that that condition would be necessary but not sufficient. So we should have cleared this up before. It's not to say that RFK Jr. banning soy and seed oils would fix the problem.
Okay.
It's to say the problem would not be fixed if RFK does not ban soy and seed oils. Does that change your answer?
I don't think seed oils matter that much. Look, I'm going to do a before and after one day. You're not going to believe how skinny I get. You guys aren't. But I've been waiting because I want to get to the point I want to get to before I show you how much thinner I used to be kind of chunky. And anyways, long story short, I've experimented a lot with diet in the past few years. And I did not find a difference with seed oils. I didn't. I found the biggest difference in cutting sugar and cutting carbs. That was pretty much it. Increasing protein. I don't think it's this big. I'm sure it affects it some. I don't think it's going to kill you.
Sure, no, I still lost.
So again, the way that the question was worded, I'll just tell you my take on it.
It was poorly worded. I agree. It was Davies' fault. Yes.
Tell you this. The rise of stay-at-home sons is not going to be solved by banning certain food items, certain soys, nothing. No. It's a cultural problem. You have to address the cultural issues. There's nothing that you can ban as far as consumption that's going to fix that. That's
what if you banned pot, porn, and this is alliterative, what's a third P, and playthings like Legos. I don't know what they do. These kind of the man children. What if you banned all that stuff?
Fuck you guys. Seriously. Can you imagine? Like, this is the most out of touch thing I've ever heard. You guys are commentators. You have no idea what the average man goes through. I was just talking to my cousin the other day who literally lays concrete. And, okay, if he wants to play video games or Legos or whatever the hell after work, who are you to tell them what they can and can't do? I mean, this is just an elitist conversation. Screw you.
Stuff. Yeah, okay, yeah. What if you banned all of that? That would help, wouldn't it? If you got, frankly, just porn. If you got rid of porn, I think you would go 40% toward fixing the problem.
Yeah, okay. But then why don't we, if we're going to ban corn, why don't we ban old marriage? Women, if you don't get married by 23, if you don't find a guy and get married by 23, I'm not even saying 18. My grandma got married by 18. I'm giving them an extra 5 years to F around. You can even have a whole college hoe phase and go get married, but you got till 23. If you're gonna ban corn, then ban women not using their youth on their husbands, because the whole issue is there's men getting iced at sex is a need for men. Religion doesn't treat it like a need, but the same part of your brain that lights up when food it's the same part that sex is a need, especially for men. And they don't treat it like one. And they constantly make men feel guilty and shame the male sex drive. It's a manipulation tool. And they've used it for all of history because they knew they can control men with sex. Yeah, there's a construction worker in the chat. I mean, who are these commentators? We have such soft lives. And I don't say this to brag. It's not really fair. But I love doing this. It's so much fun. It's so fun. Like, you guys are the only people I could talk to for 2 hours straight and you listen. I love it. But to act like I am close to a construction worker, or I would even put to any of the men that do the hard jobs that keep this country going, hell no, none of you are. So for you to tell men, like, who are you to tell men what they can and can't do? Bullshit. Don't get too skinny, Pearl. Fuck you. I'll get as thin as I want to get. Sorry. I'm dropping F-bombs today. This isn't good for me. This isn't, I need to be like more, I gotta stop dropping F-bombs. It's just not a good look for me. It's really not. Sorry, guys. It just, yeah.
I don't know this new generation, though. I don't know if that's their thing. I don't know.
They all think they work so hard. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not competitive. It's very competitive. Why do you think she's in such good shape? Why do you think she's got the Botox, the hair? Because we're all competing, right? That's why they all dress very nice, whatever. But let's just be real here. No, I'm not on Ozempic. Whatever. Let's just be honest here. And call it for what it is. We have soft lives. We do. Okay.
If that's what gets them going. Honestly, I think laziness does. I think laziness.
Oh my God. I give her to me. Who are you to talk about laziness, Tomi? Who are you? You're a fucking commentator. You wouldn't be where you are if you weren't a pretty blonde girl. You're not in the position you are because you're overly intelligent. You don't know stuff more than the men. You're not that intelligent. You're not that good of a debater. You just have a bunch of followers because conservative men want to have sex with you. That's it. That's it. And because you've lived a whole life of delusion where you think you're in the position you are because you're smart and not pretty, that's why you're in the position you're in. So you have no right to call men lazy. You don't. You have no right. Go work construction. Go work an infrastructure job and come back to me.
Fuels a lot of the reason that they want to stay home. They don't want to achieve necessarily. And I'm not talking, again, this is my biggest pet peeve, is there are some conservative men in our space that when I say those things, they go, you hate men. Yeah. Okay, calm down, Chads. No, what I'm saying is we have a cultural problem in which some young men, especially the generations that are coming up now, the alphas, the Gen Zs, right? There are a significant amount that do not want to achieve, attain. They don't want to be exceptional. They don't want to be masculine. They don't want to be leaders of family and household. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, because what do they get in return? They get nothing. They get like a Botoxed 32-year-old, you know? I mean, it's just not what men generally want.
Problem. Now, I get eviscerated for this, but when I say that women don't have much to choose from, I'm not saying women are perfect. So I'm glad that I get to clear this up. We have plenty of cultural rot on the female side. Trust and believe I agree with you. I'm talking about women who uphold their end of the bargain, that are looking for a man who is masculine, who wants to be leader of household. They are not finding the same.
Now, what is she talking about? She likes charming men, just like all women like charming, exciting men. She's complaining that there aren't enough alphas and that the alphas that there are will not settle down. That's what she's saying. She's saying, I can't get alphas to settle down because, look, Tomi was pretty hot back in the day. She had access. Come on, let's just do, like, we got to think through this stuff. She had access to A-level celebrities. She was on big shows. You don't think she got banged out by a few athletes? You don't think she got banged out by a few conservative commentators at Fox? Like, let's just balance the probabilities, assume, okay? That's what she's mad about, is that she's like a 6 and she got access to 8s and 9s. And you have to be a really good 6 to have a shot with them. And in general, you know, a lot of men aren't going to compromise on looks. They're not. If you, like, the men that I know that get laid a lot and have access to a lot of women, they do not compromise on looks. They're not going to. They've worked their whole life to get to this point. They are not going to come home with a mid. They're not going to do it.
Swath that maybe they once could, because it doesn't exist.
Okay, so then how do you, let's say, so the men don't want the women because they say the women are all promiscuous.
Pearl, you're being mean. I don't care.